Hello, guys, and welcome down to this next episode of In My Opinion, and obviously joined by Mikhile. Hello, Mikhile.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm all right, man. I'm excited about this one because this is actually my second favorite coaster that I've been on, and
Hmm.
today we're going to be talking about, in our opinion, about Shambhala at Portaventura. One of the nicest coasters in Europe that I've ever been on. It's just such a pleasure to ride. What do you think first? Let me get your opinion first about Shambhala because you've been on some crazy rides, B&M,
Yeah, I suppose I
Hypers,
suppose I,
Gigas,
suppose I got
everything.
some big
So
names under my belt.
yeah,
um,
just a little.
um, I really love Shambhala. It is my second favorite coaster in Europe that I've done behind Taron.
Wow.
So like it is, it's it's definitely high up there. I've got it somewhere in my top 20 in my rankings. Um, and yeah, I love the thing. I rode it first time in 2016, I think it was, and I've loved it ever since. I've wanted to get back ever since then. I've not been since then for the last 4 years. So I'm definitely trying to get back there in the not too distant future, hopefully. Um, in terms of against other B&M hypers that I've ridden a few. So I've ridden Nitro, Apollo's Chariot, Intimidator at Carowinds, and Mako at SeaWorld Orlando, and
Oh,
then
Mako.
Shamba,
That
and
is
then
bucket
Shamba.
list. That's out of all them you've mentioned, like Mako
Yeah,
is up there. It just looks
Mako.
such a fun layout. Looks awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. They nailed Mako in terms of the layout and that and the airtime and everything. But yeah, so those four I've ridden um over in the States, and then Shambhala as well. So those are the five that I've ridden. Out of those five, Shambhala is the best out of those five.
Wow. Okay.
In my opinion, yeah.
Even better than Mako then.
Yeah, definitely. Just I like to sum up Shambhala personally as the most the most perfect or most accurate display of floater airtime I've ever experienced on a coaster.
Certainly what I've
Um,
experienced anyway. Definitely.
yeah, like every hill, including the first drop,
Yeah.
every hill is just so perfectly engineered to deliver pure, just when we're talking pure, unadulterated floater airtime.
Yeah.
It does it better than any other B&M hyper that I've ridden, and it's yeah, it's literally every hill as well. Not even just like the first few biggest, but when it gets down to the the smaller ones
Yeah.
near the mid course, and then you get into the second half of the ride, coming into the breaks, like in terms of airtime, it's super well done.
The one hill that always gets me is the one after the splashdown, and then you do the little double down, but you
Yeah.
go. It's the one where you drop down before you go up again into the mid course.
Mm,
That hill, I'm gonna guess, is at least 80 foot down. Like it's a big hill. You don't realize
it
you
must be something like that. Yeah.
because you're going over the path and then you just drop down. You don't expect
Yeah.
it. The first time I ridden it, I was like, whoa, because I'd never experienced floater like that. I was like, I was holding on the first time because I'd never experienced it like that.
Yeah.
Um, but by like the second time, literally the second time around, I've got on the back and just like all the way around. But the first time, it really, really took me like it took my breath away. Like honestly, like
Mm,
when you hit them hills and you hit the transition from going up to going over, the parabolic arc that these hills have on Shambhala is like you say, it's designed
perfect.
at it's just zero G, zero
Yeah.
G, zero G positive.
It's almost like it was just an improvement and a steady development of
Yeah,
how B&M wanted to engineer that sensation on each element. On every B&M hyper that came before it,
mm.
that was their latest rendition, and then for
Yeah,
this one they got it. I imagine this is how they wanted it to feel with every other one,
yes.
you know.
I wanted it to
And
feel, but they were
yeah,
obviously restrained by something in the design process to stop them from doing it.
perhaps, who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, with Shambhala, they got it perfectly right
yeah.
on each hill. I
Every
don't know.
hill,
Yeah,
every
literally every hill.
transition.
For me, the one because I was kind of expecting it on the first massive hill, which is almost 200 feet itself.
Yeah, yeah.
I was kind of expecting it on. I was expecting the floater airtime to be great on that hill, although it kind of blew me away how great it was. But the one that really caught me off guard, you say the one after the splashdown. For me,
Mm.
it's the one before the splashdown.
As you climb up
Like,
into it.
yeah, like the one between the speed hill
Yeah,
and
no,
the splashdown.
yeah, I know.
That's
Yeah.
the one where I was like,
Whoa.
whoa, they like they nailed this.
That
Like
bit to
they
me, if
yeah.
someone who's not been on Shambhala, is like the first bit on Icon after the launch.
Yeah.
Would you
Oh yeah,
agree?
I can
The way
imagine.
it
I
just
can
throws
imagine.
you up, and then you've not been on Icon yet, have you? Have
No,
you?
not yet,
No, right,
unfortunately.
okay,
But
all
I,
right.
ca- I kind of,
But
I can imagine though,
because you kind
having
of go
seen,
really steep, and then you come over, and then you
yeah,
throw to the left. It's very similar to how it feels on Icon. But then
sure,
instead of going into an inclined leap, you go into a splashdown on a
yeah.
bank, and then you flatten out, and then woof straight out.
I can imagine depending on where you sat on Icon, just like Shambhala, like it is really sustained. Maybe on certain areas, like if you're on the front if you're on the front row, it may be a bit more sustained as you climb up into the
Yes.
apex of the hill.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas at the back of the train, you might feel it more, on the way down.
yeah.
Um, that's definitely the case on Shambhala, and that's also why it's kind of funny when we think of, like, the front and the back row as the as enthusiasts in general
Yeah,
favorite places to ride a coaster.
yeah.
On something like Shambhala, because the train's so long,
It's massive.
I
Is
I
it
would
10 trains? Is it 10 cars per train? I think that's
I
what it
think
is.
it's 8 or 9, but because it's
Well,
staggered
it's a lot.
seating, yeah,
Yeah,
it's still a lot. But because of the staggered seating, each car is elongated
yeah.
from how it normally would be,
Hmm.
and then the train ends up being so long.
It's
But yeah,
massive.
yeah. I back to my point. I could even understand if someone's favorite place to ride it would be the middle,
Yeah,
because you get that sustained floater right over the top of the hill and over. So as you're approaching the apex of the hill and
it's
as you're
funny
coming
you say
down
that
out of
because
it.
that was my first ride. Was bang in the middle on the
Really?
edges. Yeah, so that was my first experience. You're right. It's doesn't matter where you sit. It's a fantastic
Yeah,
ride. It
yeah.
really is.
Like
And
it may differ in some ways, but
yeah,
where no matter where you sit, you're having a good time.
like the front
Like, you're
feels like
definitely having a good time.
oblivion when you're going over that first drop because it doesn't half hold you up
Oh
there,
my god, yeah.
and then it just lets you go, woof,
Yeah.
and you're off through that little
Have you
tunnel.
have you not have you noticed that as well? Actually, it's funny you mentioned that as you go
It
over
slows
the top
down.
of the lift hill. Yeah, it slows
Hmm.
down and it takes a couple of seconds before it starts going down the drop. And
I think now I don't know the facts, but I think it's because the train is so big and heavy. Like I think
pro-
that is
probably,
it's
probably,
probably a bit of a release mechanism for the chain, so it gets to the top, slows down, slowly lets it go over the top.
yeah,
You could also be doing it to trim the ride as well. They don't want it going over at full speed on the chain. They could be doing that for whatever reason as well.
perhaps, yeah. It's
But
just
I
it's just funny because it's something that I noticed on Shambhala, but
yeah
I didn't notice it on Intimidator at Carowinds, which has the same kind of train setup.
yeah
You know
yeah
the
yeah
the staggered seating,
yeah.
but I don't really rate Intimidator that much anyway, but yeah, it's just funny to think about just the little nuances and
Mm.
differences on
And the ampersand turn as well
on
is
very similar coasters.
the ampersand turn is so much fun. Like when you get
Yeah,
into that
yeah.
is just like that's another thing.
I
Um,
remember when I first saw B&M building that,
yeah,
and it just looks so cool. It's
yeah,
just
it
such a
does.
at the time it was such a creative way for them to just basically turn the train around and come back in the opposite direction,
Yeah,
because since then it was literally all horseshoe turns or hammerhead turns,
hmm
wasn't it?
hmm yeah.
Um, Now, Intimidator did it a bit differently with the entrance and exit crossing over each other before and after it turned around and stuff. But this was the first time we'd seen a turnaround on a B&M Hyper, just
Be different.
just be completely different
Yeah.
and just completely creative like that. And it was cool to see, and it is really fun to ride as well.
And
You
then into
experience some
this.
hang time at the top of it. 'Cause I did.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah,
like on the big one, when you go around the corner on the big one and you're like hanging over,
yeah,
when you go up after you've come down back down the second hill, and as you're going up and as you turn over, if you're at the back, you can just see this train. It's like a centipede just going as it goes round. It's crazy,
yeah.
like it's mad, and you're just hanging out there, and you just got a clamshell, and you just kind of
Mhm.
like this, and you fly
Yeah,
around. You hit some G's as well on the way out of that, and then
for
bam,
sure.
speed hill. Like what? Where did that come
Yeah.
from? And then
Yeah.
into that hill we were just discussing before, the splashdown. Now the splashdown itself, one of the nicest looking B&M splashdowns I think there is. The area itself. I mean,
Yeah.
you stand there and you think you're in the Himalayas kind of culture.
It does.
with
It does
everything
really
going
fit
on.
into. Yeah. It does really fit into the plaza area in front of the entrance really well. And I think. See, I'm in two minds about the
Mm,
splashdown area personally because
okay.
on the one hand, I really like the more traditional splashdowns that B&M have done on
Yeah.
the coasters such as Shikra and
Yeah.
Griffin,
Yep.
Diamondback at Kings Island that have the like scoops on the back of the train.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of those, and when I saw this splashdown, which was literally just fountains on each side as the train passes by,
Mhm.
I was kind of like, it doesn't really have the same effect that I thought it would, as the same as the others that I'd seen. But on the other hand, I kind of I like and appreciate that it's a very clean effect. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a very tidy. It's not messy. It's not just waves of water coming at you as you're standing in front of it, and
Yeah.
you don't have to stand there as it just like splashes on you
And it's
or anything like that.
controllable. It's controllable as well. Like,
Yeah, with it being jets, it's very controllable as well.
so I think that's the main reason for it, is that it was more efficient, and it gets hella windy up there in Salou.
Yeah,
And I can
yeah,
imagine if the train slowed down too much on the splashdown, it probably wouldn't make the
yeah,
next few hills, because
yeah.
that could be a thing, literally, because it's so
Mm,
early on in the layout. Whereas like Sheikah's towards the end, Griffin's towards the end. Like it's you know, this is towards the end, but there's also a mid course break run after that.
very true.
So it's
Yeah.
I think even like
Well,
Diamondback
it's
and stuff
it's
like
kind of
that.
to the point.
It's
Yeah, Diamondbacks is right
yeah.
before the breaks, right before the final break run. Yeah, on this one, it like to the point you made about it making the next hills after. Um, yeah, those hills still they're still pretty big,
Oh yeah, they're
and
massive.
they still
Goes right over the
offer.
plaza.
Yeah, they still offer good airtime
Oh
moments,
yeah.
still notable airtime moments as you mentioned,
Hmm.
and you wouldn't want a splashdown with like a traditional splashdown with scoops, slowing any momentum, and making it questionable to make it to
Yeah.
valley on the splashdown or like make it over the airtime or
I've
something like
been
that.
to PA so many times. Just back to the wind point, is that I've been to PA before Shambhala was built, and there was a couple of times where I went with my parents and Dragon Con was actually closed because of the wind. Um, I know they are pretty on top of it there. Like they don't try and do like Pleasure Beach kind of wind environments to run the big one. They actually have
Yeah.
a bit of a limit on what they can run Dragon Khan and Shambhala at. I think Shambhala might now not be such a dramatic thing as it was with Dragon Khan. Obviously, with the new design trains, new design,
Yeah.
uh, the ride computer system, everything that runs it basically is just
Hmm.
more advanced. Whereas Dragon Khan is just a 90s B&M stand-up coaster,
Yeah.
sit-down coaster. So yeah, there's probably a lot more going on in that respect, but I can definitely see the amount of control you get over that splashdown with Shambhala being probably one of the biggest selling points for PA and why they went for it.
Oh yeah.
with B&M, and like we said previously, it's before the mid course break run, so it's massive. So and
Mm.
onto that, speaking about the mid course break run, like the left turn out of that is something vicious on the back. Like it's so cool. And then you hit, I think, is it three drops? I think it's three drops and then a one drop and a double down. I think that's what it does after it. And then
Maybe.
a pitched brake run down into the
Yeah.
station, which is really fun. I don't know why I found, because it's pitched, you kind of come over a hill and into the brakes, so you kind of get airtime even into the brakes on Shambhala. It's that good.
Yeah. It is a nice way to end out the ride, and
I think it is. I think
it
it
does.
fits.
Yeah, and it does a lot for, well, I was going to say about operations, but yeah, it we won't get into that too much, but
No.
it is designed to do a lot for efficient operations of that coaster. But
Yes.
so yeah, I like that. So what would you say are your favorite parts of the ride as a whole then, in terms of the ride experience in the coaster itself?
Man, I just love that first drop into that transition to the bank drop to the left on the second drop before you crest. On the
Yeah.
second drop, I think from going down the first one, going through the tunnel, and then you slightly left and then rise up. But because it's so steep and parabolic, the airtime is ridiculous
Yeah,
on that
it's
part.
unbelievable.
It's
Man,
crazy.
what?
The speed hill is just something now. Now I've been on it a few times. I just like bank and turn. It's like I'm on a motorbike. Bank and turn is like, and it's it's there. You're like you
Yeah,
move with the train after you've been on a coaster enough times. You move with it. You know what to expect. Like on Nemesis, I bet everybody does it on Nemesis. I bet
yeah.
everybody runs around the loop like I do on Nemesis as well. Possibly not, but yeah, no.
Oh, a few of us do. A
Yeah,
few of us
a
do.
few of us do
I can, I
definitely.
can, I can confirm that.
Just give one of my
Did it a
secrets
couple.
away there,
Did it a
but
couple of times.
but yeah, no, Shambhala. I think the amount of different, again, the hill into the splashdown on the back, you get soaked. I found out that you get wet on the back of the splashdown.
Mhm.
Towards the middle as well. Front, you don't really see it. It's that quick when you're on the front. You don't really see it. Like you see it in front of you, but you don't see the fountains go off.
Yeah,
Because it's already gone off. And sometimes they're not working. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, if you, like we were just saying, if you've got an effect like that, it should be perfect every time. It should be
for
perfect.
sure.
If it's
For sure.
controllable, if there's no variables with it, it should be perfect every time.
Yeah.
But man, just even just sitting in the station before the turnaround and that view you get, like because it's on top of such a big hill,
Yeah.
and you start to
Yeah.
climb
The station
again,
itself is so high up.
and you see all of the golf course off to your left, the hotels. You can see like Tarragona in the distance. You can see everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's
It's such a
it's something
great ride.
it's something special. It's something that the coastal community, the coastal world, in just Europe in general, should be proud to own.
Yeah,
In
definitely.
my opinion, I've not ridden every B&M hyper in the world,
No.
but I think it makes a strong case for the best B&M hyper in
Yeah.
the world. Yeah, like I can't see
It's just so
many other I
different.
can't see yeah, I can't see many others really beating it, just because of how technically sound it is.
Yeah.
Some people say that Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia is up there as well.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't know, but hopefully I get to ride it sometime soon. But yeah, for me, just we can chat on about just the coaster experience as a whole, but
Yeah.
like for me, that it's got to be that first drop and and just the airtime over the first hill for me. Like it's just that first drop. I say this about Fury 325 as well. It just does not end. It just
No,
does not.
no,
It
it
just
doesn't.
doesn't end.
No, it doesn't.
you
It
you
doesn't.
you feel like you're dropping for ages.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we talk about like the parabolic shaping of each hill as well. Just the shaping on that drop is something special. And to finish it off with it just diving into a tunnel is it, a first drop into a tunnel never doesn't work.
No.
It
Yeah,
never
yeah, yeah.
doesn't work. It
Yeah,
always
yeah, yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Especially from a height like that as well.
even like Nickelodeon Streak towards the end when you used to have the tunnel there, on the
Mm.
coaster, on the roller coaster, that is fun. Going through any tunnel on a coaster is fun. Oblivion,
Yeah,
amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
even Nemesis going underneath the path after the loop is awesome.
yeah.
It's just something that is just it's unique. Um, it's unique. It's a unique feeling to anything else. Like when you go underground on a coaster, it's just so much fun. So yeah, so how do you feel about what Shambhala did for PA and the extension of the park? Then obviously you had Dragon Khan, and now you go beyond that now, and you can't
Mm.
imagine PA without Shambhala now, right?
Yeah, nah, nah, you can't. I just think I really like I really like what Shambhala did for just sort of like the expansion of the Chinese area in in itself. Because
Yeah,
like when you think about before Shambhala and then Angkor were added, the China area was not the China area was nice, but it was it was more holistically just like a stereotypical
yeah.
Chinese kind of area, wasn't it?
Hmm.
With
It just
you know,
stopped as well. It just stopped.
yeah,
You up
yeah,
the
kind
steps and
of.
then stop. Like the theater was on the left, and then I remember the shop for Dragon Khan was literally like a little hut just outside where the
Yeah,
entranceway is. Um, yeah, that's one thing PA could definitely improve on is the merch, like because I've definitely noticed that when I've been a few
yeah,
times. Don't
for
get me wrong, I
sure.
got a Shambhala t-shirt, but no, they could
Yeah,
definitely improve on the merch and where you can buy it from anyway. But anyway, yeah,
yeah.
in that area, you just used to go up the steps to Dragon Khan, and there'd be a little lady there and tell you if it were open or not, if it were too windy or not.
Yeah.
That's my memory of Dragon Khan. It's my first memory of Dragon Khan. But yeah, anyway, so yeah,
Well, like
what it did.
well, like when we're talking about the area, I think the area it's not to say that the area itself wasn't like to say it was incomplete or anything.
No,
It was really nice. You know, you had the village, the sort of little village area before you reached the Great Wall and then
yeah,
Dragon Khan and stuff like that. And then
yeah.
you've got the boat stop like at the front of the area as well. But what I really like about the addition of Shambhala and Angkor is that they were able to go a little multi-dimensional with that area in the sense of adding the Himalayan Alps area,
That's a great
and
way
then
of putting it. Yeah,
that whole plaza area and stuff. You know, off to the side of Dragon Khan, where the splashdown is and stuff like that. Just all the theming elements around there, and then eventually heading round past Shambhala into Angkor as well. It has a real, um, almost like Sri Lankan architectural kind of feel to it, and I just think it added a nice, you know, other dimension to, like I said, to the to the China area as well, and it all just looks really authentic as well. Like
did it?
even
Could you argue that it made it more like Dragon Khan was it was great for Dragon Khan, but can you argue that it made the area a bit more 3D? Like, because you had Dragon Khan in front of you, the theater on the left, and now you've got this pathway that goes round the Himalayas. You go past that
yeah,
truck. Now you've got the new station for Shambhala. Then you've got
sure,
the new ride underneath it to the back of the
mhm,
park, right at the back of the park. So it's kind of like you literally go through China, over the Himalayas, and then you're into this new area. It's really clever.
yeah, yeah, because before Shambhala was there, the the closest you could get to Dragon Khan and just, you know, as far back into the park as you wanted,
Yeah,
was the Great Wall. Any further than that, and you were going up into towards Dragon Khan's plaza, and then go in to get on Dragon Khan.
yeah, and then you go
Um,
to the opposite side of the park as well. If you follow the Great Wall that goes all the way around the path.
yeah, yeah, it goes all the way around to Mexico and stuff. Now with how like I think the they really set it out well in terms of
Mm.
the infrastructure and the path, because now
Yeah,
there's a big path that you know follows right up next to Shambhala's drop, and in between Shambhala's drop there's Dragon in between Shambhala's drop and Dragon Khan as well. So it
yeah,
splits the middle of them, and it offers, you know, you were speaking about more adding more sort of like 3D
yeah.
sort of visual experience to the area. It you get more photo opportunities of Dragon Khan as well. You
Not
could
only that
like,
though, it's like you've gone into Dragon Khan's ride area.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was about to get to. Like, you can get
yeah,
right
yeah,
up close to Dragon Khan's first vertical loop, which is something you couldn't do
no,
before Shambhala was there. And I mean, Dragon Khan's first loop looked huge as it was
it's
in itself.
massive.
Now that
Such a
you're right
great
up
loop.
next to it, now that yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then now you can get right up next to it. It just it you really get to stand like right underneath it and just be like, oh my god, it's
It's like what you said
absolutely
before about
massive.
the red dragon flying around the mountain. Like, you literally feel like you're at the base of the mountain when you're not
Yeah,
on the ride, and you just see Dragon Khan going around. It's like there's this
sure.
really like magical element and mystical element going on. It's just it doesn't,
Yeah,
like, to anybody else you'd be like, it's just a ride going over a ride. But if you actually think about how they thought, the thought process behind opening up Dragon Khan's ride area for the people to walk through, it's clear as day how you
yeah.
described it. You know, it's for that.
It's really well done. And like we mentioned before, the repaint of Dragon Khan did so much for that as well.
Yeah,
Um, you know
definitely.
how much more multicolored it is now. You know, even down to the repainting of the trains and stuff. It really
Yeah,
does look like the celebrational dragons of, you know, um, traditional Chinese celebrations and stuff like that. They really thought it through, and and you can tell they tried to make it as authentic as possible, and it
yeah,
really worked well.
definitely.
They work so well together. Firmly in my top 20, maybe top 15. I haven't checked in a while, but it's somewhere very high up in my rankings for sure.
Cool, man. It's my second favorite coaster. Like, to the Swarm, and the only
Yeah,
reason is because the Swarm is so different and it's a little bit more accessible. I say
yeah.
that if I was to go on public transport to Fort Park, it would take me longer to get to Fort Park than it would
It
to.
probably would take you longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this episode of In My Opinion. We were talking about Shambhala. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out our last episode as well, as we talk about our favorite roller coasters, and Mikhaile's is an absolute belter. So make sure you check that out. It's really cool. Mine is just a Swarm. I mean, I've just said it about 300 times. I'm wearing the hat still, you know. But yeah, make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out all of the videos as well on the CoasterGen YouTube channel. And just a quick one, just a quick little cheek plug here, is I've started a Twitch channel. I know you guys really like the streaming that we do. You've all asked for different games and stuff. So I thought, you know what? Let's go one further. Let's do a Twitch channel. It's called Duke Lukem TV, and basically it's just going to be me and whoever else wants to join me. It's going to be unfiltered, uncensored, all that stuff. We're going to be playing all different kind of games, horror games, racing games, skating games, wrestling games, the lot. Like, we're going to be playing so much. Theme park games as well, but probably more focused on the games. But also, I'm going to be streaming some of my music making process on there as well. So make sure you check that out. It's dukelukem.tv at Twitch. So yeah, make sure you check that out. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, and if
You
you
find it on
guys
there.
have got any suggestions for this series, comment below. Make sure you give this video a like as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Follow us on our social media. And for now, I've been Luke. He's been Mikhile. And that was In My Opinion, episode 2. And we'll see you next time.